Hello everyone, welcome to another video from Shomu's Biology. In this series of lectures, we are talking about apoptosis. What is apoptosis? What are the features and principles of apoptosis? What are the morphological changes the cell incur due to apoptosis? We have seen the basics. We have seen the intrinsic pathway of apoptosis. In this particular video lecture, we are going to talk about the extrinsic pathway of apoptosis. But to understand extrinsic pathway, you need to know what apoptosis is, what are the features of apoptosis. So I want you to watch that video in this series. There's then the playlist, and then watch this video for better understanding. So the extrinsic pathway of apoptosis, when we see extrinsic, means external origin of apoptosis, right? So the origin is external, that means a signal that comes to kill the cell comes from outside of the cell, not inside of the cell. The signal may originate inside, known as intrinsic pathway. The signal may come from outside, that is extrinsic pathway. So in the extrinsic pathway or extrinsic origin of signaling apoptosis, how it is done, let us talk about that. So to understand the extrinsic pathway of apoptosis, we've listed 8 simple steps of extrinsic apoptosis pathway. We'll follow these 8 simple steps. You don't need to mug it up, because I'm going to explain it to you. Once explained, then look at all these 8 different steps. It will be crystal clear, guaranteed. So let's first talk about the process of extrinsic apoptosis. Extrinsic apoptosis always initiates based on the cell signaling, some sort of cell signaling that is originated from outside of the cell. So to understand that, what I draw is that I will draw a cell and I will draw a receptor. Okay, like this, I'll draw a receptor. So there may be ultimate different receptors in the cell surface, but there are particular receptors known as death receptors. Let's term them death receptors. And there are signaling molecules or ligands known as, let's say, death ligands. Okay? Because they lead to the death of the cells, we call them death ligands. So what are such examples? So the very first step is binding of death ligand to its respective receptor. What are some examples of these death ligands? Let's say Fas, L. It's a protein, Fas ligand. Fas is known as a death ligand or a death signaling molecule, because Fas is going to interact to a receptor on the surface of the cell, which is known as, let's say, Fas receptor, okay, or simply known as CD95. Is an example of death receptor that is present in the cell surface. Generally, Fas ligand binds to CD95. This is one example. Let's take another example. Tumor necrosis factor. Tumor necrosis factor can act as a death ligand, and the receptor it will bind to, example, tumor necrosis factor receptor. Okay. So these are examples of death ligand and death receptors. Clear? But the idea is very simple, that the death ligand is going to bind to the death receptor. Okay. So the moment death ligand binds to the death receptor will be activated. The death receptor will be activated. So when the death receptor gets activated, what signals do we get? I'll take a color, different color, to illustrate that part to you. Take a different color here. When I say that the death receptor is active, this is activated. Activation means of what? What kind of activation? Basically, activation means here they will associate it with Fas associated death domain or TNFR associated death domain, or TRDD, you can say that TRDD or FADD. What do you mean by that? Fas associated death domain, TRDD, tumor necrosis factor associated death domain. So you can write as TRADD. Tumor necrosis factor associated death domain. Okay? Both this death domain that are present where? In the cytosolic side. These are domains. Domains means what? Basically the structure of the protein. The cytosolic part of the receptor, the death receptor, that consists of this particular structure of amino acid known as a FADD or TRADD. Depending upon the type of cell signaling molecule or death ligand binding to it, either Fas ligand or TNF, they get triggered, they get activated. So whenever the cytosolic site of these death receptors are active, what this signals? It helps in the formation of death-inducing silencing complex or death-induced silencing complex known as DISC. So they will form DISC. Remember this term, DISC. Death-inducing silencing complex. Death-inducing signaling complex or silencing complex. You can say death-inducing signaling complex. This death-inducing signaling complex is trademark of extrinsic pathway of apoptosis. In intrinsic pathway of apoptosis, the trademark is mitochondria's involvement. The trademark is the formation of apoptosome. While in case of extrinsic pathway, death-inducing signaling complex is the example, or death-inducing signaling complex is the trademark of extrinsic apoptosis pathway. Once disc is formed, then it will activate caspase 8. The disc is going to activate what? So there will be pro-caspase 8. You need to know one thing, that the caspase proteins are ultimate effector proteins in the process of cell death, be it intrinsic pathway of apoptosis or extrinsic pathway of apoptosis. There will be involvement of caspases. In case of intrinsic pathway, we saw the initiator caspase was caspase 9. In case of extrinsic pathway, the initiator caspase is caspase 8. And these caspase proteins, whenever present in the cell in more amount, will signal the cell to kill and die. Okay. So that's why the caspase once produced are kept as an inactive form known as pro-caspases. Some sort of protein modification is required to convert pro-caspase 8 into a caspase 8. A caspase 8 is an active form. A pro-caspase is an inactive form. Okay. So the disc death induced or inducing signaling complex is going to activate caspase 8, and caspase 8 in case of extrinsic pathway serves as a initiator caspase. Once caspase 8 is active, it's going to further activate the effector, the final effector caspase, or you can say terminal caspase or executioner caspase. So caspase 8 is going to activate caspase 3. So again the same thing, there will be pro-caspase 3. Pro-caspase 3 will be converted to caspase 3 by caspase 8. So once caspase 3 is there, caspase 3 means is the active form. Remember, it is there and it is there as an active form. So once caspase 3 is there, it's active, then it will execute the process of apoptosis. So caspase 3 is the executioner of apoptosis extrinsic pathway. It is the executioner of apoptosis intrinsic pathway. For both of them, the executioner caspase is caspase 3, but the initiator caspase for intrinsic pathway was caspase 9. The initiator caspase for extrinsic pathway is caspase 8. That's the only difference between extrinsic and intrinsic pathway in terms of caspases. Now once the caspase 3 is there, it will trigger the 3 important steps of apoptosis, 3 important properties of apoptosis, that is then cell shrinkage, cellular shrinkage. The second important step is obviously DNA fragmentation, and another thing is membrane blebbing, formation of membrane bleb. 3 important steps: cell shrinkage, DNA fragmentation, membrane blebbing. All of them are done by caspase 3. The caspase 3 involved in this process. And after this thing is done, then what we can say, apoptotic body formation, because basically when the cell is dead, the cell is fragmented, the DNA is fragmented, because the caspase 3 will trigger the activation of DNases, it will trigger the activation of proteases. Protease will destroy proteins inside the cell, DNase will degrade the DNA, and ultimately it will lead to the fragmentation of the cell, shrinkage of the cell, the fragmentation of cell membrane known as membrane blebbing, and obviously the DNA fragmentation will be done. So all this thing, after these things are done, the fragments of the cells and components are floating in an environment known as apoptotic body. They are known as apoptotic bodies. Okay, so once the apoptotic body is formed, then there is a time that the apoptotic body must be released from that tissue. It will be removed. So phagocytosis is done. Phagocytosis is a process where the apoptotic body can be removed from that area. So whenever the apoptosis is done, the fragments are generated, then the phagocytic cells, either the professional phagocytic cells or the there could be the neighboring cells which can also clear out that area of apoptosis, and that is true for intrinsic pathway, that is true for extrinsic pathway. For both the pathways, process is same. So from the step number 6, basically step number 5 to step number 8 are common between intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway. So the only difference is how the process starts to initiate the process of apoptosis. The rest are very similar. So that's all about the extrinsic pathway of apoptosis with an example. Okay, so I believe you have a clear idea about extrinsic pathway of apoptosis. If you like this video, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to get more and more lectures like that in future. And remember to watch all the videos in this series to have a clear understanding of this topic, crystal clear understanding of these basics. And also I'll be there with another video of this series, the last and fourth video of this lecture series of apoptosis, comparing different types of cell death pathways, not only apoptosis but all the other varieties of cell death pathways that are out there. What are the similarities, what are the differences? We'll see all these things in details in the next lecture. So stay tuned and watch that lecture too. Thank you. Bye.